Welcome to the
Maybe.
Rise Above show with Patricia Jo Grover, where we rise above our challenges and turn believers into achievers. Today, my show guest is Dan Kapellen, and let me tell you a little bit about Dan. He is a speaker, an author, a coach who offers valuable insights from his experience as a co founder of a high tech startup, from marketing and business development in 19 countries, and from entrepreneurship. Dan started his career in engineering with a passion for clean air. He he invented techniques that are still in use today to reduce harmful pollution and greenhouse gases from gasoline, diesel, and alternative fuel vehicles. He later helped vehicle manufacturers worldwide build cleaner vehicles by combining his technical, communication, and leadership skills to coordinate global engineering and marketing teams. Oh, so happy to have you with us on the show today, Dan.
Well, thank you, Patty. I appreciate the invitation.
Oh, well, so I have to share with you now. I've added a new segment to my show, and it is This Grammy Doesn't Knit, She Cliches. So I want to know, do you have an old word or adage, a phrase that you heard as a child in your life, and how has that affected you? So can you share that with us?
Well, for me, I recall my dad always telling me curiosity killed the cat. And I was curious about everything. And one day I asked him, what did the cat want to know? And he just kind of threw up his arms and gave up. So he let me continue asking questions. And so I always think about curiosity killed the cat. And I think it's a good thing because curiosity gives us energy.
Yes, yes. Dan, I would agree to that. But I bet many kids have heard that adage and phrase. You know, so it was curiosity killed the cat, and then satisfaction brought it back. So that's what
Oh,
I heard, right? So as a child, what did that mean to you? That did it really stick then?
yeah, it did. I mean, even through college, I thought about being curious. And, satisfaction brought it back that you just brought up as the first time I heard that. I always thought of it as that's why cats have 9 lives. So if you're curious and you don't get the results you want the first time, try again. And that's something. It's something that I've lived by. I've been curious all my life.
And it's a wonderful thing. I actually, one of the things I teach my clients, Dan, is to have a curiosity that's greater than your fears. Curiosity
Yeah.
isn't a bad thing. So that's why as a kid it's like curiosity killed the cat. So that's why I like to know what something meant to somebody as a child and how it affected them through their lives. But so now, Dan, what words do you think could be used to express that same thing to people?
Well, I like what you said about have a curiosity that's greater than your fears, and we often um, let our fears hold us back. There's always kind of a gnawing in the back of our minds about something that we want to do, that we want to accomplish, that we can't really get our arms around because our fears put a block around it. It's probably like trying to pick up a ball that's packed in fur. You feel the fur and not the ball. And in this case, you feel your fears rather than the vision that you want for your life.
So true, Dan. Yeah, and this is why I added this segment into the show, because learning from these things help me work with my clients. You know, it really does, and it makes helps me be able to make connections in ways that they may be finding blockages from being able to achieve the dreams and goals that they have set forth for themselves. So thank you for playing along with me for this. And are you ready to get started with some questions?
Yeah, let's bring it on and see if we can raise people's curiosity to elevate their lives.
All right. So Dan, you told me that when you grew up on a farm in rural Wisconsin, and you had quite a different vision for yourself than your parents or anyone, even your extended family, had for you. So how is it different, and might your story relate to our viewers and listeners?
Well, the common vision in my family and my extended family, um, it revolved around farming. Everybody that I knew was a farmer. And the progression was that the sons would work on the farm with dad and grandpa. They'd find a hard work, industrious woman to marry, and they'd take over the farm as dad ages and grandpa passes away. Um, I was restless. I didn't like how the farm tied me down. You know, I was always fascinated by how things worked. And, for example, I'd watch jets fly through the sky above our farm and, see the entrails behind them just kind of dissipate in the blue sky. And so I thought, man, it would sure be interesting to travel. Um, and over time and working with counselors in high school, I really learned that I wanted to work for the space program. And so I had a vision to go to college, and that was not well received within my family. And I was kind of considered the black sheep in the family because of it. But fortunately, my mom and dad supported me in that. I wanted to work in the space program, but I lived in Wisconsin, and University of Wisconsin didn't have an aeronautics program. I would have had to go out of state, which was clearly out of our budget. And so I chose mechanical engineering, which turned out to be a good thing because when I graduated, NASA had cut their programs back after the Apollo program, and jobs weren't available in aerospace. So I went into the auto industry. I did what a lot of businesses and what a lot of people do when something that you have finally decided on doesn't work out. You get curious about alternatives, and you develop a vision that pivots from where you were to a new direction. Now, how does the journey apply to my guess is a lot of people in our audience today, they feel restless or uncomfortable with what they're doing. It could be a restlessness for them personally. It could be a restlessness that their business doesn't give them the satisfaction they want, or they feel if they have a team of people that they don't feel, very satisfied. And, maybe the vision seems a little bit out of reach because of circumstances out of their control. Do they have to pivot? Maybe. Or maybe they can just tweak what they have. But it all goes around the importance of having a vision, whether that vision is the right track or not, or whether they need to pivot. Having a direction is critical for us to have some satisfaction and to convey the direction that we want to go to others so that they're following us and have confidence in us.
Fantastic. And I'm sure viewers and listeners can agree with that. And many people don't understand and can't really get a good focus on their vision. So Dan, if your vision might change anyway due to circumstances outside your control, why do you think vision is so important?
Well, if you don't know what you want, nobody else will either. Vision provides for action, something to move toward. You want people to follow your lead. So you need a vision and you need to communicate that vision. Having a vision also provides guidance for decisions that need to be made. When making a decision, especially a big decision, it helps evaluate whether a course of action will move you toward the vision or whether it's going to be a distraction. One of my biggest problems because of my curiosity is what people refer to as the shiny object syndrome. And that is that you're working on a path and something else kind of pops into view and you all of a sudden want to pick up on that. It becomes a distraction potentially to that vision. But having a vision can tell you whether that is in fact something that supplements the direction you want to go or whether it's a distraction from where you want to go, and you have to have the discipline to say no. If you don't make your decisions, other people are going to make them for you, and it's not always a good thing. The other nice thing about having a vision is that it provides alignment. So it helps you find partners and supporters with whom to move forward together. You would find employees or team members, or let's say you're looking to be employed. Having your vision helps you align with the people with whom you want to align with. Highly aligned companies, whether it's your company or the company that you're going to work for, are shown to grow revenue 58% faster than companies that are not aligned. The reason is because doing meaningful work is exciting and motivating. Now, getting back to this issue of whether that vision has to change because of circumstance outside your control. Having a vision that perhaps has to change is still valuable because you're learning along the way, and you can take the lessons learned and apply it to the pivot if you have to pivot. So a vision is helpful regardless of whether you're able to stay on that path for 10 years, 20 years, for a lifetime, or whether you have to change it at some point. Let me just throw out a couple of examples of vision statements from a couple of well-known companies. Everybody knows Disney. Their vision statement is very simple: to make people happy. So when Disney management, when they're hiring prospective employees, if that employee is a bit surly, they don't want to hire that. They don't want to have that image planted in the people that this person might interact with. Also, somebody who is looking to be hired by Disney is going to want to align with happiness as well, and they may self-select themselves out of the process. IKEA says to create a better everyday life for the many people. To create a better everyday life for the many people. When they're coming up with concepts for the products that they sell, that is what's going to drive them. That is the decision that will be made by the managers and new product managers when they decide something is a product for them to incorporate into their catalog and into their stores. Does it create a better everyday life for the many people? Right. So vision is what helps us make those decisions and to align ourselves with our path and with all of those that we want to influence.
Fantastic. Great explanation. And I hope our viewers and listeners were taking note of that. And vision for me, vision is also when we are looking for our own businesses and for our own growth, where do we see ourselves? What is it that we want our dream or goal to be when it's fulfilled and we are living in that reality? And being able to have that vision is a powerful thing, because that is what helps keep us going in the times when things get difficult. So we'll be right back. We have to take a quick break for a message from our sponsor, 133 Approved Funding. We'll be right back. And we're back. And for those of us just joining us, I have with me here on the Rise Above show Dan Kapellen from Everyday Leadership. And, we've been talking about vision as being a big, big thing that we need to have understanding of. So let me go on, Dan, and ask you, some people use the term vision and mission interchangeably. You say that they're different, and I also agree that they're different. But how are they different, and why is that important, so that we can clarify this? So give us your take on this.
Well, vision describes the future, and and that future could be 5 to 10 years or even longer. And it describes where you want to be as a person or where you want to be as a company at that point in time. A mission statement describes the organization's purpose and how it serves its customers through the products and services it provides. So a vision is aspirational, a mission is actionable. And when you talk about your vision, whether it's a personal vision or it's a company vision, you want to state it in the present tense, as if you are at that point in the future. You don't say, I hope to get there. You say it as if you provide a couple of examples. Google, we all know Google. Their vision is to provide access to the world's information in one click. So at some point in the future, they decided that they wanted to be able to provide the world's information in one click. But that doesn't provide direction. It doesn't provide the actions needed to get to that point. That's where they want to go, and the decisions they make should point in that direction to get them to where they can provide access to the world's information in one click. Their mission is to organize the world's information and make it universally acceptable and useful. So to provide access to the world's information, with the vision, they have to organize the world's information. And there's a lot of sub-goals that have to go into that, but the difference is the vision provides a state in the future. The mission describes how to get there. So why is that important? It's important to provide clarity to the task at hand and the efficiency to execute it. So when you're talking about a vision, the decisions help move toward that desired result. The mission says this is how we're going to execute it. And it provides alignment among employees, among business partners. They know what it is they have to be doing and what the end result is going to be. It creates efficiency. It minimizes wasted effort. If you drive through the countryside, looking at farms, we'll go back to the farm analogy. You notice how the lines in the fields are straight and parallel to each other? That is a series of goals and missions all by themselves. Can you imagine if somebody just took a plow or a tiller out in the field and just randomly drove around the field? Many places in the field would be covered twice, and some places would not be tilled. So by doing it, when I was a kid and I was doing the tilling, I would look straight at something on the other side. It could be a tree, it could be a fence post, it could be a telephone pole, and I would just drive straight toward it, making little adjustments as I drove, which is just what we have to do when we're managing our projects, right? And get down to the end of the field, turn around to till the space next to that, And, I'd feel a great deal of pride if I looked down that row and saw that it was nice and straight. And at the end, I would have a field of straight, parallel tilling rows, and it was done efficiently. If I had just been, what took me 3 hours might have taken me 8 hours if I if I just did it randomly. So that's the same way in our business. We don't want the randomness, and the vision and the mission help us define both where we want to go and help us make the little adjustments along the way and define the tasks we have to do to get there.
So, and I relate to the story about farming as an explanation for that, Dan. I had a friend who they had a big farm and they grew for companies such as the Green Giant. And but their equipment had gotten so technical that they had GPSs that operated the tractors to keep them online and going where they needed to go. He could sit there and read the paper while it was doing its thing. He just had to be there just in case. It's like these self-driving cars now. So it is amazing how technical progress has moved along, even in the farming industry, but also with us, with what we have available today in business, right?
Yeah, very much so. And it's kind of funny. You mentioned the GPS on the farm. That was a project that I worked on actually in one of my jobs, but the technology wasn't there to get it yet. But that was a vision, and it's been achieved by the major companies.
Yes, yeah. So there you go. So that's an explanation of vision right there. When you have something and you allow yourself to think outside the box and really set your dreams and goals high. And most people don't allow themselves to do that. That's what I deal with when I work with clients. So Dan, so what are your tips for creating a vision statement? Because we all have them, but what are your tips for creating that vision statement?
Well, I have 5 tips to give. So the first one is write it down. I used to joke if I was asked for a plan on how to do something, but I'd not written it down, I would, knock my head and say it was cast in concrete. But that doesn't really help. Writing it down makes it concrete. And write it in clear, concise, jargon-free language. Don't use acronyms. Write it in a way that everybody can understand. So write it down is the first tip. And then project 5 to 10 years in the future, maybe a little more. 5 to 10 years can be a long time, especially with how things are changing today. But pick a time frame, pick a future, and say, this is where I want to be personally, or this is where I want my business to be, and in that time frame. And be big in creating that. You've got a lot of time to reach it, and you will be amazed at what comes about, what comes along technology-wise or partnering-wise that can help you get there. You have no idea at this point how it is going to be accomplished. Conceive it first and then do it second. So the third tip is to use present tense. State the vision as if it is reality, that is where you are. Don't state it in the future tense, saying you hope to do this or you hope to do that. No, you state it as is. It may sound a little corny at first, but after a while, you're going to believe it because you're saying this is the reality. Fourth, which we talked about quite a bit, is think about alignment. Is there alignment with your vision and the people with whom you want to connect and influence? For example, is your vision aligned with your employer's vision if you are an employee or a manager? Or if you are the manager in the company, is it aligned with the community? Is it aligned with the world vision that you want to impact? So alignment is important. If there is no alignment, people are not going to relate to the vision. and supporters are going to be difficult to find. And this is particularly important for companies looking for investment, whether it's a startup or whether it's an established company who is looking for a new project. And then my last tip is create a plan to communicate your vision. A light under a bushel basket in a dark room is a factor.
Right. Now, I would also add to this, Dan, is that when as a small business, solopreneur, entrepreneur, having our vision, or even corporations, when you have that vision, you need to be able to express that vision to anybody that you bring onto your team as an employee or somebody that you are in a collective with, or in doing any type of business with. It's a good thing to be able to voice what your vision is in a way that they can understand it, in order to help you be able to make that come to fruition. Because if they don't understand the vision that you have, they may be counterproductive to you being able to achieve that.
You're absolutely correct. I really like your view on that and how you explained it.
I would just say that was a big thing I wanted to bring out for our viewers and listeners, because you put all those other pieces in, but when we are, whether it's a corporation, and you said of Disney, and this goes back to that, using that example. It really does. If you're an employee that doesn't understand the vision, and that if you're not following in your actions and the piece of the puzzle that you're putting in and giving to them as an employer or somebody who is an affiliate or whatever you're doing, it all makes sense that people understand that vision, so that everything, all the moving pieces fit together and work properly in order for this to happen and be able to be achieved. So wonderful. I just wanted to clarify that, because it really does make a big difference. That's huge. So Dan, another question here, moving on. I know before you and I talked, you said that you had a gift for our viewers and attendees. And can you share with us what it is you have, and how they can get it? Because I know we have your website showing up below. So can you tell everybody what your website is? Because if they're just listening, they may not be able to see this. So go ahead and share what your website is, and then tell us about the gift.
Sure. If you go to leadership.kmsprofit.com, you will be able to click on a link that will allow you to download 10 principles that great leaders adopt for use in their everyday leadership. I think the actual title on the book is Everyday Leadership, the Results You Want. But inside of it are 10 principles. Vision is the first principle that we talked about today. And you will find 9 other principles and a series of questions to help you prove and create the leader that you want to be.
Oh, thank you. That's such a wonderful gift. And I'm sure the viewers and listeners will appreciate that, Dan. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you again for being here with us and serving. I'm sure you'll have viewers and listeners reaching out to you. And thanks again.
Well, thank you, Patty. I really enjoyed this, and all the best to your listeners as well.
Thank you. And for those of you who'd like to find out more about me and how I serve, you can go to patriciajogrover.com. And if you'd like to take advantage of the gift that I have for you, you can text the word GOAL, GOAL, to 26786 if you're in the continental U.S. If you're outside the continental U.S., you can use the number 1-866-926-4020. And for those of you that just don't text, you can go to https:// bit.ly/ patreon.com/PJG gifts. And we have a little video that you'll have here behind us. And thank you again, Dan, for being with us. And I want to say, until next time, rise above the challenges that life bring your way and have a great day.